Hi friends, it's Carly and I'm back again with another review. So after counting all the votes, we have a decision, and today we will be taking a look at our first Colossus BAF AOA action figure, and that figure will be our Rogue. I'm really excited about this because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that about a month ago I picked Rogue up just because she sort of called to me from the shelf, and this was before I decided to get back on a regular posting schedule. I kind of did a haul video about it, but I really didn't know what my intentions would be as far as making reviews. Now I've decided to do reviews regularly again, and it just so happens that this is what everyone wanted to see. So I'm really happy about that. Before I get started on the review though, I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently with this series. I will be doing one figure each day for the next 8 days, all the way through the BAF. But I also had the opportunity to pick up the After Xavier Age of Apocalypse micro series, which was a 4 comic book series in 1995 that actually includes the character designs for these specific figures that we're going to be looking at. So since it's only a 4-book series, I thought it would be really fun for me to sort of read along, and you know, I always like to give a little bit of history, but this way I could sort of tell this portion of the story as I do my reviews. So this is something I've never done before, but I'm always wanting to sort of like get more into the comic book aspect of these figures, and I think this is a really fun way to do it. So please give me all of your feedback in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think of this. If you like it, if you think I should do it more, if there are other books I should pick up. I think why I like this idea so much too is that it lends to me picking up series that I haven't covered before, maybe from older figures, so I can sort of shift the timeline a little bit instead of just waiting to always talk about what's new. I think there's a lot of potential, but let me know what you guys think, and if you like this, I will keep finding ways to do it. Your suggestions are always so helpful and welcome, and I can't wait to see what you guys think. So for this video, I've read the first issue of The Astonishing X-Men. This is Age of Apocalypse After Xavier. So what has happened to this point is that Charles Xavier has been killed by Legion, and Magneto just found out via Bishop, who has traveled back in time, that cullings are still taking place. So because of his promise to Xavier that he would make the world a better place, he has decided that he is going to go face Apocalypse and his son Holocaust, who are still just killing indiscriminately, and it could be the end of mutant kind, but he is going to go do what he promised Charles that he would do. At this phase in the story, they have found out this intel from Bishop. They sent Blink and Sunspot to go confirm it. They confirmed it and barely made it back alive. Sunspot especially was really tried in his efforts. You know, he comes back overheating and just overwhelmed, but he absolutely refuses to stop because his entire country was wiped out by Apocalypse. So he wants to stand beside Eric, and of course all the mutants do. And they're gonna go on this crazy mission. So we get to see our Rogue here. She and Magneto are married at this point, and they've just had a child that they named Charles. We get to see our Gambit come back. He is going to help on the mission, but it seems he still carries a bit of a flame for Rogue, and maybe she does too, I don't know. But luckily, Blink, the nanny, is willing to step in with her literal screaming child and put a stop to that. So really this is more about the mission at hand than the interpersonal relationships at this point. But it's kind of interesting that something might be going on there. But we do get to see this character design, our Rogue, in really just beautiful, bright detail throughout this issue, which makes me really excited to keep reading. But at this point, at the end of the book, everyone is totally with Eric. Nightcrawler is like has a little bit of trepidation because his mother Mystique is out, and she's been sort of doing recon as well, and he's worried that they can even make it back, but they all agreed to do the right thing to make the world a better place the way Eric promised, and that's what they're going to do. So that is the end of the first issue. They part ways. Rogue decides not to say goodbye to Eric because she doesn't believe that she thinks that saying goodbye is like the end, and she doesn't think that she won't be coming back. So she says sort of a tearful goodbye to Quicksilver and heads off to start her mission. Now, from the covers, I'm sort of assuming that she is going to really take charge of this whole thing, and I'm here for it, and I'm really here for this figure. So let's take a look, and on the next one I will tell you what happens in the second issue. So the first thing I think that we can say 100% is that Marvel absolutely nailed the character design on this figure. There is no doubt, no question whatsoever that this is this specific Rogue, from the puff sleeves to the bangs to the hairline. Every single element of this design is exactly what we see in the comic book, which means a lot to me. It always means a lot to me to have authenticity in the recreation of these characters, and that's one of the reasons I love Marvel Legends and I collect them, is because, you know, everybody has their, you know, their questions, their concerns, and their criticisms, but I think that ultimately they really do try to stick to the book quite literally when they're coming up with these character designs, and there's no question that they succeeded with Rogue here. So she has her very 90s puff bangs. I love this look. It just has an action feel to it, and I love the facial sculpt. Her facial expression is determined and beautiful. I think that her pout, like you can almost just hear her talking, her southern accent. I love the paintwork on her eyes, which are hard to see because of her bangs, but I'm just really, really pleased overall with the way that she looks. This is a serious story, and she looks like a serious badass character. So I'm really excited about the decisions they made as far as the sculpt and staying true to the way that she looks in the book. We do have a little bit of coloration issues from the top part of her body, from her chest through her torso. You can see that this is a little bit more of a banana yellow, and it's kind of muted here. That's just the difference between plastics, and it happens. But for some reason, because we have the two contrasting greens, the sort of lime green and neon green, that makes this really stand out to me, where normally it wouldn't. I find it really noticeable, and it kind of bugs me a little bit. But when you're working with such vibrant colors, that kind of thing happens from material to material. So, you know, we have to sort of temper our expectations when it comes to dealing with the same materials. But overall, I think they captured the color, the vibrancy really, really well. I love that they captured and stuck with her puff sleeves. I feel like these types of details on female characters are things that we don't often see, in favor of just showing off like the slender line of her arm, which doesn't turn anyway. So why not stick with the detail of her actual costume? I was really, really happy that in this particular case they did that. And again, the awesome boots, which are my favorite feature because they look like the boots of someone who's about to go fight for her life and the life of other people, instead of these delicate little ballet slippers that we often see on female characters. So I really appreciate that. And in the book, these are how her shoes look. So I feel like it's a really accurate representation. I shouldn't be trying to flip through a comic while I'm doing this video, but I want to show that I imagine there are plenty of people out there who complained about these boots, but this is how they look in the book. It really is, and they're accurately represented on the figure. I do recognize that there's something a little bit moon bootish about them, but at the same time, they make more sense for what she is facing, what she's about to do, the state of the world. Most of the country has been decimated by apocalypse at this point. They are literally in hiding. Here is a map of what's going on. It is a very serious, it's not just Age of Apocalypse because it's apocalypse, it's truly like the end of things. So I think it makes more sense to see more utility in the costume, and this figure definitely captured that was part of the character design for Rogue. So let's talk about the articulate points. We have a really great lift in her head, and I feel like because of the way that her hair is, that could actually lead to some really cool poses, like wind-blown sort of poses, really cool action shots. So I actually am really happy with the movement. Obviously, it goes all the way around, as they are wont to do. The lateral lift is really great. The sleeves don't impede anything at all. We don't have any type of turn in the bicep, but the shoulders do turn, so that's, we're still getting a good rotation there. And we've got elbows that bend the way they always do on female characters. It's fine. And she does come with 2 sets of hands. So she has sort of what I would consider to be like casting hands, and then a set of fists. I think the fists are what I'm gonna go with when I display her and do photos with her. But I always do sort of like these delicate casting hands. I don't know, for me they just look really neat. Of course we don't have a turning waist, but we do have the turning torso that we get. So the torso turns in any direction that you want to, and we have a tiny little bit of an ab crunch. Nothing crazy. I have to say that for this figure, for me, I'm not overwhelmed by the articulation. You really have to kind of like do a lot to get a lot out of her. But because the color, the sculpt, the paintwork is so spot on, I'm just not mad at it. You know, things that I've talked about in the past, I don't feel like lingering on as much as far as the design of female action figures, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. We know what we're gonna get, and this is a satisfying character, man. It's a satisfying action figure that looks good, and you know, there's things that can be better with everything, but on this particular figure, I'm just not mad at the things that sometimes bug me. She does have turning thighs, and you saw how I can like manipulate her into a split, so you can get a full range of motion if you're willing to put the work in. And you know, I think that you can get some really beautiful poses out of it, but the highlight of this figure for me overall is the paintwork, the color choices, just the dedication to staying true to the way this character looks in the book. This is one of my favorite Rogues. I really liked my classic or my retro Rogue, but there's something about this for me that is just very 90s, and it just feels like she just walked right off the page of the book. So I'm stoked about this figure. I think that I'm gonna be able to do a lot of fun things with her, and as I'm reading the book, I'm looking for more opportunities to like pose all of these figures together. So cross your fingers for me. I might be able to take some really good shots of all the figures side by side. But this Rogue is a win for me. She does everything that she's meant to do. The accessories are light, but that's okay. That's happening right now. I think that the baff is gonna be really impressive. So as long as they're hitting the mark with making them look the way that they're supposed to, I'm probably gonna be happy. And with this one, they 150% did that. I think that anybody that has real beef with this figure might just have a beef in general with Legends, or a beef with Rogue. But if you're looking at the book that I just showed and looking at this figure, I don't think there's any denying that this is a perfect representation of the character, and I find it really, really impressive. So let me know what you guys think of Rogue. I think you made a great choice for starting back, something I can really get excited about. I'm gonna try to do a couple of different types of videos for these, but we'll stick to the standard review style that I normally do, just so that I can keep things flowing. But I am working really, really hard, and I've learned a lot lately, so I'm crossing my fingers that I'll have lots of interesting new styles of video for you guys real soon. Please let me know what you think about me reading the comic and talking about it the way that I did. If you would rather me just share panels, or if you like me holding it up and going through sort of page by page and talking about things, any suggestions or ideas you have, you guys know I'm always so grateful for your input, and try to do my best to make the videos you want to see. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will be back tomorrow with another one. We can set up another poll. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that, or if I should just go on in the order that they were already voted for. Let me know, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friends!